All right, here we go. It is May 17th. And for those of you just getting on, you missed a little bit of a pre-show that we had going on here, talking about Kartra, Go High Level, all the, all the different platforms out there. Myself personally, I like Kartra. I've used Kartra for the last 4 or 5 years. I used a lot of the other programs before Kartra, like the Kajabi. I looked at that. I used ClickFunnels, Confusionsoft, as we all love to call it. I've played with a lot of them, and I was never really able to get any of them to do what I wanted to do. The program that I wound up settling on was called A Member, which you guys probably haven't ever heard of it. It was one of the very first membership type programs. And it was great for what it was, but it wasn't a marketing program. It was just a membership site. So I used that for a long, long time. And then I was introduced to Kartra. And, I wasn't going to go for it because I had tried all the others and they were all the same thing. I could never get them to go. And, somebody that I respected told me, I know what you're doing with the ACT program, and you should really look at this because it's a perfect fit. So I did. I started playing around with it. And I was like, holy shit, this thing is awesome. And I migrated basically everything. I migrated everything in my marketing business, not my web hosting business, my web development business. That stuff all runs on a different accounting software that's built for that industry. So I didn't move that. That's left alone. It works perfectly. And when you have something working in your business, there's no reason to change it. But I saw opportunity to take my other business, my training business, my internet side, and do something better with that. So that's what I did with Kartra. Now, there's a big buzz about Go High Level now. And not to say that it's a bad system. I can't say that because I haven't used it. I've seen it. I know from a 30,000 foot level exactly what it is, exactly what it does. I did recently see a demo of it. And, I've heard both sides of the fence. I've heard it's easier, and I've heard that you have to have programming language skills to actually get it to fly. I don't know. I haven't used it. But what I can tell you is that it looked like the interface might be a little bit simpler from a standpoint of somebody that really doesn't know what they're doing. That said, somebody that really doesn't know what they're doing shouldn't be doing that. And the output of it was kind of rinky dink, like the pages it was putting out, the membership site it was putting out compared to what I'm used to in Kartra. The other thing I've seen about it that I didn't particularly care for was the payment gateways. It tries to pigeonhole you into its own payment gateways.
Yes.
And I don't like that. So
and I saw that and I didn't like that, John.
Yeah. And another thing too is just their whole business model structure. It is very incentivized to get people to sell it. Doesn't mean it's the best thing. And they probably have better marketing than a lot of the other tools. In fact, they probably have better marketing than Kartra, but that doesn't mean it's a better program. It doesn't mean it's the right one for you. As some of you know, I've actually been working with the people behind the scenes at Kartra to help them see some of their missteps and some of their shortfalls. And they've taken to heart what I've had to say, and they've actually put me on their advisory board. So I'm actually involved in that at a pretty deep level to help them make it a better program. And one of the things that I'm going to do, they're creating a lead generation system for people that have either bought Kartra on a trial basis, or people that have bought the program and then left it for one reason or another. And what they're considering doing is either bringing me on as a tool, an instrument to get those people back and show them how to use it, how to implement it. Their training is great. I'm going to say this. Their training modules are excellent. Like if you need to know how to do something inside Kartra, they have a Kartra University in there, and you can go in and there's a module for just about anything you want to do in there. That's where I learned a lot of the stuff I didn't know how to do, was in those little modules. And for me, that's great because that's all I needed to know how to do. But for the average person coming in that's not used to setting up a marketing campaign, it can look overwhelming, as any of these platforms can, because you're seeing a lot of stuff. You don't know what it is. You don't know how it all connects together. And that is a problem that I solved 3 years ago. When the pandemic first started, I did a training specific to Kartra, and I called it Funnel Camp. And it was basically, it was a 2-day course walking someone through purchasing a Kartra account, setting it up, and creating a marketing campaign. The 2-day event, live event, it was recorded. I still have it. I still sell it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another one that's more up to date. They have a lot of new stuff that is in Kartra now that wasn't in there when I did that training. But the core of it is still the same, because as a business owner and as someone going through ACT, you know what you need. You need an attention grabber.
Mhm.
You need something to generate a lead. You need to take that lead and you need to follow up with it, and you need to take it through the process of grab attention, create demand and desire, eliminate objections, and make an offer. Now that could be done in a number of different ways. It could be done with video. It could be done with a webinar. It could be done with sales pages. It could be done with a drip email campaign, or it could be done with all of those things combined. You know, if you're less lazy than I am, you would combine them all and you'd get much better results than I do. But any one of those things will make sales. If you've got your market identified and you've got your messaging right, and you bring it to the right, you bring that message to the right market, you're going to have a level of success. And at that point, you have a baseline. You have a baseline for success in your business. And then you can sharpen the sword. To multiply that success, all you have to do is start multiplying your channels. Like if you've done a webinar, you might want to say, okay, I know this worked to this extent, but what if I added a follow-up drip email campaign? You'd probably double your sales. What if I got a different traffic channel and now I had 2 sources of leads to feed into the front of it? You'd probably double your sales. You can tenfold your income really quickly with a couple of doublings. You guys know how that works?
Yeah.
One time, you know, you double 1 and you've got 2. You double 2 and you've got 4. You double 4 and you've got 8. You start doubling your opportunities here. And we do this every year. You guys that have been with me for any length of time, you know, the end of the year, I do that exercise and we look back at you know, how many lead magnets you created in the last year. How many traffic channels did you add? All that stuff. We just add it up and tally it. And it's basically, it's very telling. The results of that test basically should show your income. And it reveals to you how you can do better in the following year. And it's up to you how much better you want to do. You know, if you've got nothing, if you made nothing in the last 12 months and you do the same thing, you're probably going to get nothing again in the next 12 months.
Yeah.
I would bet on that. I'm not a gambling man. I'd bet on that all day long. I'd put a lot of money on it. I would also bet on, you know, if I'm going to bet, I bet on math, because I know the math's going to do the same thing every time you do the same thing with it. That's what I'll bet on. So if you want to call me a gambler, hell yeah, I'm all in. But I don't gamble on shit I can't control. Math I can control. It makes sense to me. You know, 1 + 1 generally going to be 2. I keep waiting to see something different. I haven't seen it yet. I'm hopeful, but I wouldn't bet on it. So that's the thing. You just need to know how to make the tool that you have chosen work for you. And that's what I'm going to do with Kartra. I'm a Kartra fan. I've used it. I got to tell you, at the point where I am in my business, if you took Kartra away from me right now and you said, you got to do something, you got to use something else, I would probably be done. I am so dependent on Kartra in my business right now. And, I'm so far along with it. I wouldn't even bother. I'd just say, all right, I'm going fishing. I'm done.
Well, it makes sense, because I think we all want to have some, I'm guessing we all want to have some stability in something that's automated, so we can spend our time where we want to spend our time, but yet, the whole generating leads and having an automated system where you follow up with people and they see the ads and they know your event's coming up and getting in front of their face and all that. Really want to do it one time and set it and let it run.
Yeah.
But that's the hard part.
And here's the other thing too, that you should be thinking about as far as your business model. You should be thinking, how are you going to take every customer that you have and whatever it is that you sell them? You could sell them one big thing for a bunch of money, or you could sell them one little thing and then another little thing and another little thing, and whatever your life cycle between you and your customer with your product, right? You look at that and you say, how can I extend this? How can I take whatever my current life cycle is, whether it's a single sale or maybe it's a 1-year program, doesn't matter. Whatever it is, that's a life cycle of your customer. You should be thinking, how do I extend that forever?
Mm-hmm.
How do I take every customer that I bring into my pipeline and turn them into a lifetime customer?
So that's what we're talking about. Making sure that we have some type of continuity program, right?
Well, it doesn't even have to be your program. It really doesn't.
Okay.
Your program could actually be a loss leader just to get people into your funnel. I know, Randy, you've got to have heard my story about the maternity dress, right? Mm-hmm. So the maternity dress is a perfect example of that. A woman that makes maternity dresses. There's not enough profit in selling the dress to advertise to sell the dress, right? It's a no-win situation for her. Either she finds a distributor that has a current pipeline of sales and she just plugs into it, and then she makes, whatever profit she makes off the dresses. But that business model to me is a disaster. All that is a job. That means every day you're going to have to get up and sew dresses, and you're going to make X amount of money, and you can only do so many in that day, and you're only going to make so much money. And tomorrow, if you decide you don't want to do it, you're not going to make any money. That would suck. I mean, seriously, if you told me that was what my life was going to look like, I don't know if I could get out of bed.
So John, let's use the word continuity, but is what you're alluding to fits the model of the affiliate, or not the affiliate, what's the word where I'm promoting your stuff and promoting stuff, and
that's an affiliate or a joint venture, or there's a lot of.
Is that what you're talking about now?
Yeah, because what you're doing, you know your customer, right? And you know that your product or your service is going to fulfill a need, right? When they come to you, they have a need. You're going to fulfill by selling them a product or a service that's going to give them a desired outcome for that current need, whatever it is, right? And then once they get to the end of that need, you might be done. That might be all you have. You might be a trick pony. That's okay. All you have to do is understand that person, understand that avatar, and understand that when you get them to their current desired outcome, what are they going to need next? What's the next step in their life cycle look like?
Or that could happen without you getting to the end with them. So in my case, I know that, for example, I'm bringing a client to you to get their website done. That's step one for her. And she's been with me a while. Step two is going to be, you know, she wants to be a speaker. So there's going to be some follow on for other things that she's going to need from you and some other people. So it may not be just getting to the end of our situation, but it might be, who do I have access to that can help her do the things that I can't do?
Correct. Yeah, that's exactly it. All you have to do is identify what they need next and then find the perfect person to fulfill that for them. And then look at when that person fulfills and they get to the end of that timeline, what are they going to want next? And you become an expert in figuring out what they're going to need every step of the way for the rest of their life. I mean, this could, if you're dealing with business people, at the end of the rainbow, you're going to want to have, you're going to want to have stuff where when you get them up to where they're actually making money, then you start up a new conversation about saving that money, protecting that money. What's that money going to do for the future? You know, that's where you call Teresa and you say, hey, Teresa, I got a boatload of customers. What can we work out here? You know, you can take these people to the next level. I got them up here. I made them perfect for you. I want you to take them and make them perfect for your section. And then tell me what they're going to need after that so I can find that guy.
Got it. Okay.
And you just create a lifetime cycle. You know, it's like a lot of the people that I've dealt with or not dealt with, that doesn't sound very good. A lot of the people that I've worked with and helped over the years, they have, you know, many of them have become pretty successful. They've made a fair amount of money. There's a lot of them that live a great lifestyle, but they don't have two nickels to rub together outside of that lifestyle. You know, they spend everything they've got. They know how to make money, but they spend every penny of it. And they have a lot of fun doing it. And it looks great from the outside. But what happens tomorrow if something happens to them today? You know, they've got no future. They have an awesome present. You know, you've got past, present, and future to worry about. It's not just living in the present.
Right.
You got to worry about tomorrow. What's tomorrow going to bring? And, you know, anything can happen to any one of us at any time.
Tell me about it.
And then there's people that are left behind. What's it going to do for them if you're living in the present and you don't have two nickels rubbed together? You're going to leave them with an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
Even if you get life insurance and yeah, you hand them a pile of money, they're not going to know what to do with it. You know, it's stuff to think about. So, and like I said, this is just a perfect example of the end of the rainbow doesn't end with your product or your service. It goes on until they get boxed up and put in the ground. And then it can even go on beyond that if you got it set up to, you know, to benefit their families. There's businesses that do that, you know. There are people that you can connect with and make really good friends with because you'll send them business. And you create relationships where they're grateful and thankful and participate with sending you cash in return for that. You know, and that's a great relationship to have.
Yeah.
Like I send people, I just had somebody that put me on a podcast just last week. And from the podcast, I got a really good customer out of the deal. The guy that put me on the podcast doesn't know that. There was no conversation. He just wanted me to provide content. He wasn't looking to make money. There was no conversation about that. He just wanted me to just come on and just share me.
But he should have.
Well, he should have. He didn't. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send him a gift.
Right.
I'm going to send him and he's going to go, what is this? And when I tell him, you know what he's going to do?
He's going to do it in the future.
He's going to send me a shitload of business.
Yeah.
It happens every time. I learned this. I knew it already. I knew it intuitively. This is kind of a dirty thing to say, but most people are coin operated.
Yeah. No,
you put a coin in the machine and it vibrates for a little bit, then it stops, and then you put another coin and it vibrates again, right? They're coin operated.
Las Vegas.
Yeah. So my first real experience with this, which absolutely made my business what it was, it made me millions. I don't know how many, but I'm going to say it made me millions of dollars confidently for $100 investment. And I've shared the story before, but I'll do it again. It was when I started my photo career. I opened a photo studio. I put all my money in to create the studio. I opened it. I had overhead. I had a real studio. This was not a virtual thing. I had, $100 grand worth of equipment and bills to pay and rent and everything. And guess what? I didn't have any customers. And I wasn't a salesperson, and I didn't want to be a salesperson. So what I did, I always say, I took my last $100. Obviously, it wasn't my last $100, but it was the last $100 bill I had in my pocket at the time. And I thought, what could I do with this to make a difference? And I went to the photo lab that I had been working with and set up a relationship with. I knew the son of the owner I went to school with. So I had a connection in there, and I was always in there. And they had a whole bunch of counter girls that took in the orders. And between 6 of these counter girls, they handled all of the ad agency business in Orange County and part of Los Angeles County. It all went across their desks. They were the face to those people, the people that I needed. And I had gone in for several months telling them, if you send me somebody, if you send me a referral, I'll pay you a commission. I'd been saying it to all of them over and over and over till I was blue in the face. Not one time did I get a call, right? So I took that $100 bill and I went in and I sat in the lobby as though I was waiting for somebody to come out, like my friend that I went to school with. And then nobody thought anything of that. I just sat in there, but I was sitting there strategically. And I was waiting for a time when there was no customers, which they were very busy. They had a lot of customers coming in and out of this place. So I was looking for a time when there was no customers. All the girls were at their desk behind the counter and no one to serve. And I sat there for a while before I got the opportunity. But as soon as that opportunity presented itself, I went right up to the counter and I called out loud so they could all hear me. I called the girl that had the biggest mouth of the bunch. And I said, hey, can you come over here? And now they're all of them. The other 5, I've got all of their attention. All eyes are on me. She approached me at the counter and I handed her that $100 bill with high visibility. So they all saw it. And I said, thank you so much for sending me that customer. She hadn't sent me a customer. I said, thank you so much for that. I've been telling you guys, I love to give away money. And my phone rang off the hook after that. From that day forward, I got every referral out of that company that there was to have. I got them all. And I paid for every one of them. And I would make sure when I was going to pay the girls, I did the same thing. Strategically paid them high visibility so the rest of them saw. And I created FOMO. I created competition to send me customers. That's where I got all those ad agency customers. That's where I sat in the boardrooms of all those big, high, intense meetings. And that's where I learned ACT.
Well, you just gave us a golden nugget idea.
I'll have $100 strategically placed in the midst of a little white lie. Right?
Well, in order to grow the Envision Success Mastermind, what I told the founding members is the same thing, but I told them, and I put it in the presentation, but I haven't given them hardcore incentive. I told them they would get 20% or 25%, whatever it was, because if they refer someone to the live event, they get a percentage. And if they refer someone to the mastermind, they get a percentage. And I think it was 20 and 25%, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But now you've given me an idea to where you don't, because it's a small group, I can afford to incentivize each and every one of them, not just tell them it's out there.
Well, one of the things, like on the first of the month, generally the first of the month, I send out all my affiliate commission checks and make all my affiliate payments. They get them and they appreciate them and all that. But that's for the people that I'm already paying. They're already incentivized. They're already motivated. But if I'm going after a new group that hasn't been paid or hasn't been incentivized yet, I use the same principle. I will hand them green cash in front of others to get the same effect. And it works the same every time. Like I'll literally do it at a conference. Like if I wanted to motivate people in Craig's group, I would hand somebody cash from the stage.
Right.
I would make it as visible as possible. And I could do that easily. I could get Craig to give me a stage for 30 seconds to do that. I wouldn't even have to tell him what I was doing. And he'd probably think it was brilliant if he really understood what I was doing.
Well, not only that, he'd call it out of the box marketing.
Yeah, and it is. It's the best expenditure I ever made in that business. That literally sparked an entire career, a multi-million-dollar career with $100 thrown on the gasoline. Yeah, it was all ready to light fire. I just had to throw the match.
So,
and that's strategy. You know, I didn't need Kartra for that. I didn't need a funnel. I didn't even have a computer back then, but I had a business strategy. I had all the tools that I needed to implement that strategy, including that $100 bill. You know, today it's just, we're living in a digital world. Right. So what you need to do is you need to figure out what worked in the old world and put it on the ship and cargo it across to the new world and use it here. Digitize it. The entire world, if you guys don't know, the entire world is being digitized right now. It's going to be the biggest disruptor. There's disruption coming in all sectors. It's going to be, it's like they're all merging. You've got AI, which is a massive disruptor. You've got blockchain technology, which is another massive disruptor. And you've got the thing that's going to fuel both of those, which is quantum computing. Because they both require horsepower to run them. So you've got three emerging technologies that are coming in all at the same time, and they're about to merge. You are sitting in a place in history right now that's never been, and probably never will be again. There's incredible opportunity right now in a lot of things. Like we talk about all the jobs that AI is going to replace. When a door closes, a window of opportunity always opens. Every time.
One of the biggest things we've noticed in terms of technology, and I know it's simple technology because we use it here in America in our homes, which is the robots who run around and clean your floors. Sure. But in the airports in Europe, there are robots running around cleaning the entire floors of the airports. Yeah. And Susan we were rushing to a flight, and one was right in front of Susan. It stopped, and it didn't move until she went around it, then it continued on. And I said, you know what? pretty soon, maybe we'll catch on. But the person who is actually using a robot, but it's a mechanical and they're pushing it, which we saw back here, I said, that guy's going to be out of work soon.
Yeah.
So you could see the difference between what's going on over in Europe. We came home and there's a guy pushing I think we were in Walmart and he's pushing it. And I said,
Yeah.
he's going to be out of work, according to what I saw in Europe.
Yeah. Yeah. Believe it or not, the US is behind. For the first time in a very long time, the US is behind in the technology curve.
Yeah.
Don, that's the big myth. The US is not number one in anything except the cost of drugs and gun violence. That's the only thing the United States is number one in. The rest of it, we're down near the bottom of the list. But I just recently, and that's true, go statistically look it up. Well, I forget what it was. And I'm hoping as I talk here, I'll remember more. But there was somebody new that just recently came out and said something really revolutionary that maybe is that you should actually do brick and mortar stuff and learn how that works and then turn it into, it's like, wait a minute, this is new. If it doesn't work in the real world, why would it work online? And by the way, I just saw a thing, a YouTube video, a machine about the size of two regular cargo vans put together. So it's not like a bus, but it's like two SUV things put together, and they're successfully creating nuclear fusion with a thing it's not the size, it's not the 23-mile loop around France or wherever it is. They've got it literally down the size of a bread box and they're building it up. So yeah, there's all kinds of things going on, John, that are just mind-blowing.
Yeah. Have any of you guys heard of unstoppable domains? Okay. So unstoppable domains is going to be a new wave in domain names. Like you had .com pretty much ruled the world in the commercial space online. Like people that bought the .nets and the .orgs and the .infos and all that, they never really got traction. It's not to say that they didn't work, but the world was so trained on .com that if you did, like, let's say a radio ad and you advertised, whatever your business name was, .info, they were going to go type in .com. They were just conditioned to .com. So if you used anything outside of that, you were swimming against current, heavy current. So, and in the beginning, when the .coms became available for public sale, they sold out the 2- and 3-letter domains like almost instantly. There was really sharp, savvy marketers that bought those up, knowing the value of them. And all the common stuff, like I bought a domain called electricboats.com, and I bought it for my brother's business, which he was getting into the electric boat business. And then he never did. I wound up selling the domain that I paid $9.95 for. I sold that domain for $6,500.
Wow.
Just a couple years later, because it's such a prized possession, electricboats.com. Who wouldn't want that? That means you own the industry, right? So Unstoppable Domains is a new domain registry that sells blockchain addresses. This is like .com, only it's .crypto. And the reason for this, the reason you would want one of these, like you would want your name, you would want teresacherry.crypto. And the reason you would want it is on the back end, like with a .com, you set up a DNS record. You have a name server, you set up a DNS record, and it says when somebody types in yada yada.com, the website lives over here, the email server's over there, the subdomain lives on this server, and it directs all the traffic for that domain. What a .crypto domain does is you have the same similar DNS records, but they're for your cryptocurrencies to direct them to your wallets. Now let that sink in for a second.
That will only sink in if we know anything about crypto. I bought $500 worth of your XRP or whatever. I have no idea why I'm even holding on to it. But
Well,
you said
keep
buy it, so I
holding it,
bought some.
Richard. Keep holding it. I promise you. If 5 years from now, if it's not worth more than it is now, I'll buy it from you. How's that sound?
Well, fair enough. It's already bumped up once a little bit more than I paid for it, but it's staying unfortunately about 3 cents under what I paid for it. So
Okay, wait. You shared a crypto secret with him and didn't share it with us?
Yeah, I'll do that in a minute, but let me tell you about this DNS structure, what this is going to do in the future. Remember a minute ago, I said everything's being digitized.
And how to get it. Also, don't forget that part.
Yeah, so digitizing everything means also money. Money will be digitized very soon. If any of you think that's a farce, you're living in fantasy land. It's going to be digitized very soon. What it's going to turn into is called a central bank digital currency. And it's not like you're going to lose your money. Your money that you have in greenbacks is just going to get converted to this central bank digital currency. And then fiat money, cash money, paper money, coins, they won't exist.
Instead, it'll be fiat crypto. It still won't have any more value than the paper money does.
Correct.
Electronic.
Correct. So it doesn't have anything to do with the value of it or anything or the amount you have. It's just going to be digital. That's the only difference. But with all these different cryptocurrencies out there, there is going to be people like right now, if you do business in Europe, they want to pay with their money, right? So now they have to take their money and they've got to trade it and get it into US so you can take it. In the future, you'll be able to accept cryptocurrencies. The XRP one that I told you about, Richard, and that one is a conversion token. That takes any money, any currency on any platform, and you can just pass it across and it just converts it for you. It's the way money will be transferred around the world, worldwide.
So it converts it without charging you?
Correct. It's instant. You can transfer any value to any value instantly with almost no fees.
Because that brings some, it wasn't a lot of money, but we were trying to use up all the euros and all
you
that.
just saw the problem.
Well, exactly, because when you go to, turn it in, they even say it has to be a certain amount, right?
Yeah.
So under that certain, right. So it's like Ma Bell getting the change that you left years ago. They made billions on that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all about to change.
Yeah.
So with all the different cryptocurrencies out there, and for those of you that are not aware, let me just give you like a little framework foundation. So a cryptocurrency, when you buy it, usually you buy it on an exchange, just like you buy a stock on a stock exchange.
Right.
And they hold it for you, and they're your custodian. So it's there, it's in your account. You can move it, and the way you move it is with an address. Like, let's say most people are familiar with Bitcoin. I'm not a Bitcoin fan, but Bitcoin has an address that's unique to you. So when you buy it, you have a particular address. So like if Richard had Bitcoin and he wanted to pay me in Bitcoin, I would give him my Bitcoin address, which is a big, long string of numbers. He's never going to remember it. So he's going to say, okay, and he sends it to that address. If he gets one of those numbers off, that money goes out into the ether. He doesn't have it and I don't have it. He doesn't have it, but I didn't get paid. So I still want to get paid. He doesn't have the money. It's just freaking gone. That's a bad scenario, right? So when you have an unstoppable crypto domain, I just tell Richard, I go, hey, send the money to johnlimbacher.com. Since he's sending it in Bitcoin, it knows my Bitcoin address. So boom, just connects the dots without that big, long, funky string that means nothing to anybody. You know, like, think about that. If you're in a store and you saw somebody that owed you money and they wanted to pay you and it was in crypto and they say, what's your address? You go, oh, well, it's 369Z uppercase Q. Really? That's not very usable. But you say, oh, it's johnlimbacher.crypto. They say, great. Boom, in my account instantly. So the reason I'm telling you this with unstoppable domains is there is a mad rush to purchase these things right now. So if you have a common name, you might want to buy it.
But how do we get it?
It's Unstoppable Domains. I actually have an affiliate link there that's internet.
Sure.
Of course I do, right?
Of course.
It's internetdominators.com/unstoppable. Can
you put in the chat?
Yeah, I can do that.
Just easier to copy it.
And this is a perfect example. If I tried to give you my affiliate address, I'm never going to remember that. So I make a redirect, and that's what these things are. These are redirects for crypto, so you don't have to use these funky addresses. All right, there you go. It's in the chat. internetdominators.com/unstoppable. The cool thing about the unstoppable domains is you buy them once and you own it for life. So when I actually started buying these. I bought internetdominators.crypto and I bought johnlimbacher.crypto, and I bought one for Barb. She has a nickname of Babzina. So I bought babzina.crypto. And I bought those like probably 2 years ago when I first heard about it. And just last week, I got an email from my account there, and it was from the affiliate manager. And he said, we are opening up two-digit domains on .crypto. So you could literally buy like ab.crypto. Super simple stuff, right? They hadn't had that available yet. So one of the biggest things in crypto that is going to be digitized is digital identity. So I bought id.crypto. What do you figure that's going to be worth? id.crypto. I own that one now. So if you can think of any 2-digit or 3-digit things that have commonality, household name meanings, might be an opportunity for you. So I wanted to throw that out and share that for whatever it's worth. You can, some of you might say, I have no idea what you just said and I don't care. Some of you might be going, I see some money on the table here. So, but anyway, that's how it's going to work. When you go in and you set the domain up, you basically just give it all of your addresses. Like if you have a cold storage wallet or a digital wallet, you have addresses for all the different cryptos so people can send you crypto to that address. So you set up.
Do you have to have a crypto account to link it to, or can you just hold domains hostage like they do the .coms?
Yes, you can just buy them and hold them. Like I haven't used any of mine yet. I'm just sitting on them. I haven't actually gone in and connected them. I know how. I know I actually haven't done it, and I don't know the exact steps to do it, but I know it's a simple process and I understand what it is and how it works fundamentally. So, and I know it's going to be very important in the future because businesses are going to start transacting in crypto. They're already talking about it. Like Elon Musk is talking about using Dogecoin. He's talking about using, even this week, just yesterday, he announced in some platform that he was considering using XRP. as a form of-
It was his annual meeting yesterday. They even had a thing on NBC interviewing him right after the shareholder meeting. So that's where it was.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this stuff is as real as it gets. It's coming down the pipe and it's coming fast. So there's going to come a point in time when they digitize the money. You're not going to be able to hide the money that you have once it's digitized. But if you get money now into crypto, into other cryptos that's outside that central bank digital currency, before that takes place, you will have hidden money.
So John,
So
Say that again.
if that's important to you, like you'll have money outside the system.
if you jump now,
Digitize. Think about this. All your money that's in the bank, all of your money that's on record, when it gets digitized and it gets converted into a central bank digital currency, at that point in time, they're going to know exactly how much money you have, and they're going to know exactly what you do with it. Right? That common sense, right? So what if you have a pile of crypto outside that digital bank central currency before they make that switch? You will have hidden money that you can use to do whatever you want outside the trackable system. Teresa's going, oh shit.
No more all jumping through all those hoops to go down to the Cayman Islands to try and open up those bank accounts, which are illegal.
so John, I got it.
Holders will become their own bank if they hold it in cold storage.
So John, I got a question.
I know this is outside the whole marketing realm. I apologize for leading you guys down a.
Yeah,
That's all right.
I
But if you go-
apologize. I've got to get going. This is fascinating, but I've got another meeting. So, but yeah, all my domains that I would like to have .crypto already gone.
Yeah.
Teresa.crypto is available for $2,000.
That's a premium domain.
A lot of the others are, say, protected. So
Yeah, they've already been grabbed. It's a
no,
land.
there's taken, there's protected. I think that because I tried cherry.crypto and I said, protected.
Oh, they're probably holding them hostage. I couldn't believe they didn't see the value in ID.
Yeah, that's true.
ID.
That's very true.
I mean, it works for internet dominators ID. It also works for identification, which is going to be huge. It's going to be a huge industry, and I own it. ID.crypto.
So John, if you go to the
Bye,
site,
everybody.
it shows NFT, it shows wallet, it shows crypto. Are you saying that the crypto is good enough, or do you need to grab it in different formats?
Okay, so that is just like when domains opened up for public, you had the .info, the .tv, all that. I think that .crypto is going to be like the .com. That's going to be the one that I want personally.
Got it.
I think that's going to be the one that becomes a household name.
Got it. Okay.
So the NFT thing, that's, I don't want to say it's a fad, because I fear that I would make the mistake Bill Gates made when he said the internet was a fad. I fear that, so I'm not going to say it. But personally, I think there's just a tremendous amount of hype around it that people are trying to get you to look this way so you don't see the value in what's really going on that they're all taking advantage of. I'm going for the core. I'm going for the .com core.
Yeah.
I've seen this happen already. I've seen this cycle a couple of times now throughout the whole, explosion of the internet. This is the third and final wave. The first wave was communication. It was email. Took a long time for that to get adopted. The whole AOL, you've got mail That was how they brought that to light. Everybody's like, oh, wow, okay, I guess I need to get mail. The second wave was commerce. It was getting people to put their credit cards online. I mean, when I started putting credit card systems together to take payments online, there was 99 out of 100 people will tell you, you are out of your mind. I would never put my credit card online. I mean, that was the common tale. I just turned a blind eye to it and said, all right, well, you just stay in that box. I'm moving on. And this is now the third wave of this whole cycle, is digitizing the entire world. So it's all available electronically. And there's nothing any of us can do to stop it. We might not like it, just like all the people didn't like the idea of putting their credit cards online, right? We'll find one today that'll still tell you the same story. So you might not like the idea of a digital currency, but you're already used to it because you use an ATM card. You're already used to it. That's digital cash. It's already being adopted. So interesting. It's an interesting stuff. I have a whole nother membership that I just talk about crypto stuff. I've been doing that for like a year and a half. Totally different audience, totally different thing. But since there's a crossing here where you guys really need to know at least some basics. So I wanted to share at least a little bit of the basics with you, because it's going to be business. It's going to be the way your business is going to have to operate very soon. So
hey, John, does it matter when you go into the domain site? Does it matter how you register or sign up, whether you use your email, whether you use, does it matter? Like,
I just use my normal information, my company name. I wasn't trying to hide anything or anything. I just use my regular email for, to create the account, use my cell number for verification.
Got it. Okay.
All that stuff. So it's an interesting world we're about to live in. So.
What's the timeline, John, on this digital currency thing, you think?
Nobody really knows, but what I can tell you is it's all being driven by the World Economic Forum. It's not just a US thing either. When it happens, it's going to be global. It's all going to happen at once. They're all coordinating it. For them to pull that off, there has to be a set standard for the banking industries worldwide. That standard is called ISO 222. It was due to be fully implemented in 2025. That was when it was scheduled, and it's been pushed up. It actually went live March of this year, so it's already in play. And it's ahead of schedule. Now, if you think about that, there's some people pushing really, really hard to get a global thing implemented 2 years ahead of schedule. You're talking massive infrastructure to get that done, and it's done. It was completed in March of this year. So it's already there. The banks that are collapsing is all part of the show. They're going to have to create massive chaos to have a reason that they have to do this. Otherwise, they'll get major pushback. So they're already doing this, and I don't want to come off sounding like a conspiracy guy, but these are facts. You can see it. All the stuff I'm telling you, you can verify and you can see it's happening. So these banks are all collapsing because there's a liquidity crisis, not just in the US, it's worldwide. And it's because people have been trained, the generations, this has been a generational transition. We've gone from a generation of saving to spending. And everything, like the dollar is based on debt now. That's what backs it. And it's not just US, it's worldwide. Everybody's over leveraged. Everybody's in debt up to their eyeballs, and nobody has money. Except for all the people that sold all the shit that created the debt. There's a handful of people out there that actually hold the money, and it's not in the banks. Like if we all went to the bank and said, I'd like my money, they don't have it. That's kind of scary.
That's the fractional banking that we've been on for decades since Nixon outlawed gold.
Yeah, exactly. It's not backed by anything. So there's nothing to make it real. So it's just it's a digital ledger that's upside down to the point where they can't fix it. So the banks, and then you've got everybody leans back on, oh well, my money's federally insured by the FDIC, right? And here's the reality of that. The first three banks that collapsed, yeah, the FDIC came in and funded them. What happened when the fourth one, the Republican, what was it, National Republican or whatever it was?
First Republic.
First Republican. When that bank crashed, the US government was out of money. They did not step in to fund it because they didn't have the money to do it. So Chase Manhattan stepped in. Chase and some other major bank stepped in. They took a massive loss to bail that out. And the reason they did it was so it didn't cause mass panic. Can you imagine if that hit the media, that all the people lost their money in First Republic and the government was out of money? Can you imagine the mass hysteria that would have caused? Everybody would have been running to Chase, pulling their money out, and then Chase would have crashed. So they took a loss to prevent a disaster. They saved their ass by doing that. But how many can they bail out? At some point, it's going to all crack, and that's when they're going to flip the switch and they're going to go to the digital currencies. And that XRP that you hold, Richard, they're going to revalue it. That's the thing that's going to save them and pull them all out of the hole.
Or just creating value out of air like the current fiat stuff.
However they do it, it's going to make you filthy rich. So I don't think you care.
I went and looked it up and looked at what the total value of all of the cash and all the assets in the whole world are.
Yeah.
And I was staggered to find out that it was still in the trillions. I mean, there wasn't an extra zero on top of the trillions kind of a thing. I mean, and if you divide that by the billion or so, however many XRP coins they have, you were right. It was about $1,200 per coin.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
unless I moved the decimal wrong, in which case it's $120,000 a coin.
Yes, you had the digits wrong. It's 125,000. So then that's an asset you can buy right now today for 40 something cents.
Yeah. 46 today.
So Randy, if you weren't paying attention there, you just missed the boat.
Actually, I wasn't, because I was trying to.
That was what you waited an hour and 14 minutes for, right there.
Wait, give it to me again, because I'm. You told my name, so I got my name. So what did I miss? I heard millionaire.
Well, that cryptocurrency that Richard was talking about, the XRP one, you can buy it today for 46 cents. And what I believe it's going to do, it's going to back all the digital assets when they get rolled in. And if you take the value of that and you divide it into the number of circulating shares, it comes to about 125,000 each.
Yeah, I'll take care of that.
An asset you can buy for 46 cents, that it would be like if I told you, if we could roll the clock back to a time when Amazon stock was a nickel,
right,
and I ask you how many shares would you like? you'd probably mortgage your house. Right? That's what we're talking about here. I would not encourage you to mortgage your house, by the way.
Right, right.
None of this is any kind of financial advice or anything. It's just some stuff that I've been seeing. I've been watching this. I've seen these cycles. And I think there's a massive opportunity to make a whole, or actually, I'm not going to say to make a whole lot of money. I'm going to say to be part of the biggest transfer of wealth in human history. It's about
So speaking of wealth and information, so I went and I got my name .crypto, but I'm ready to pay for it, but it says email, already have an account, or Web3 wallet. What email are they asking for? The one you signed up, your regular email?
They're probably asking if you've already got an account for a wallet set up, which you probably don't.
Right.
So
Okay. So
if
they'll set it up.
If it requires an email, just use your regular email and know that's the one you got to use.
Got it. Okay.
Make it simple. Don't make this to where you're not going to figure it out later on after you forget.
Right. Because that will happen.
Don't complicate this.
Got it. Okay.
So
John, can I ask marketing question and website stuff?
Absolutely.
So a few weeks ago, you looked at a web page that we have for my company, Super Lawn Trucks, and we went back with your advice and made some adjustments to the page. I wanted you to take another look at it if you would, and give me another bit of feedback. And then I would like to tell you about something that I have learned about it and are now using, and want to get your technical background feedback on that.
All right. What was the domain again?
superlawntrucks.com. superlawntrucks.com.
Let me see if
When you arrive there, we're going to look at the page that says truck options, drop down menu, truck options, and then the first one, just Eco Series.
Okay.
You had made some recommendations about the headlines on the page, and
I remember that. It looks like you're moving in the right direction.
okay.
So the first thing here is the headline. Really difficult to read because it's so wide. So usually what I'll do is I'll usually take, and you see how you've got the page split here with the form?
Yes.
One thing I very rarely do, I very rarely put the form as being visible. I usually just put the button, and on your button here, it says submit. I usually try and make it an action word that has a benefit to it. Like get it now for free. I know you've got here is fill out the form to get a quote now. So instead of showing them the form that they have to fill out, I would just put the button here, click for free quote, and not show the form. And then when they click the button, then the form pops up. And the reason I do it that way, it's called micro commitments. All they're committing to is they're committing to, yes, I want a free quote. They're not having to answer the question of, wow, do I want to put my phone number in there? Right? Because that could kill it right there. But if they make the decision of, yes, I want the free quote, the chances of them filling out the phone number goes up exponentially because they've already said yes. So here, if you show it to them, it's like they're making these multiple decisions before they decide yes. It's kind of like, and I think I'm not sure if I used this example last time when we talked about this, But even if I did, I'll do it again because it's really to the point. It's like dating. So if you meet a woman for the first time and you want her to go out on a date with you, and you say, hey, let's go out, I'll pick you up at 8. She's got a bunch of decisions to make there. One is, does she want to go out with you? 2 is, does she want you to pick her up and be held hostage? 3, does she want you to know where she lives? She's making a lot of decisions there to be able to say yes. So you're going to get a no. But if you make it easier, you make it a micro commitment with very limited, very limited part on her part to commit to, she'll probably say yes. So an example of that is, hey, why don't you meet me at Starbucks tomorrow for a cup of coffee? That's an easy yes, because if she doesn't like where it goes, she gets in her car and leaves. You don't know where she lives. It'll be the last time you ever see her. It's a micro commitment on her part. It's an easy yes. So you want to do the same thing. Remember, I always say what works in the real world works in the online space. You just have to connect the dots and figure out how to digitize something that works. So that's why I say just put the button. It's a micro commitment. It's like, oh yeah, free quote, yes, boom. And now you've got the process rolling in your favor.
Okay.
Now, by doing that, you just opened up this whole section right here for this headline. And by putting the headline in here, basically you're squeezing it down to where it's easier to read. Like if this was cut right here and that was on a second line, guaranteed it would be a lot easier to consume from a reading standpoint, because they're seeing just small chunks of information and they're not having to go like this to read all the way across it. Now, I know on a mobile device, it probably crunches it down for you, but you want to do that. You want to do that yourself. So what I'd probably do, the way people read is usually they go to the top left first, and then they scan, and then they go in a Z pattern. So it's top left to top right, and then to the bottom left, and then the bottom right. So the bottom right's the perfect place for that button for your call to action. The perfect place to see the headline is first thing top left. So I would swap this. I would put your video on the right side. I would put the call to action right below the video. And if they watch the video, you want to tell them in the video to click that button for the free quote. You want to make sure if it's not in the video, just add it as a little trailer on the end.
Yes.
So you're telling them.
Okay.
And that way your headline is real distinctive there in that pocket on the left. And then the next thing, they're going to go right to the video. In the video, you should put click to play.
Okay.
And in your headline, it should basically be pointing to watching that video. And it does. It says watch the video to see how it works. I would take this and throw it out the window, because now you're telling two things. You're confusing them. What do I do? Watch the video or check out the photos below? A landing page should be a single action. So I would just take all this stuff, put it on a different page. Like you might have a button, click here for a free quote, or maybe a learn more button. And then the learn more button, they go to the second page where they see all that content below. But on here, as a landing page, if you want to get people to opt in, or you want to get them to do the free quote thing. And I know the quote thing might even be too aggressive. I don't know your audience offhand. I don't know if, like, when they hit this and they watch that video, if you can get a big idea and get them to watch that video, that's a minute, 15 seconds. If you can get them to watch that and be interested enough to go for the quote, then I think you got a winner. But if they still need more to be convinced that they need a quote, or maybe they're not interested in a quote yet. Maybe you need to replace that with something else prior to the quote.
Yeah.
John, may I add something to the mix here? Because last week we were talking about lead magnets. How would you use a lead magnet here?
Well, that way, like if the quote isn't a good enough offer, the quote could be your lead magnet here in this case.
Yeah.
But if it's not compelling enough and you're not getting the conversion on it, then like what Richard just said, you might want to back this up and put a lead magnet in front of the quote.
Yeah.
So that way they're downloading, like maybe you put all that information that's down below, maybe put it in a guide, put it in a PDF and put the benefits, like come up with several, as many as you can, benefits for what this thing does, why they want it, what they're going to learn when they download the free guide. And that way you're pulling some valuable information off of here. You're not inundating them too quickly, and you're kind of pre-qualifying them. You don't want a bunch of looky-loos on here. You know, you want to get prospects.
Let me share a couple more things with you to get some feedback on. So when I first contacted you, started working here with you, getting feedback, I said that we have noticed over the last year the number of actual leads, you know, from filling out the forms has been on a decline for us, and so I've been looking around, and I found a product, some code to put on our website that actually looks at the data of the people that are visiting, you know, without them filling out a form. We now are able to get, you know, who is visiting our website.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's something you've probably seen before, but
Yep.
what we looked at our Google Analytics a little bit. We received between 3,000 and 3,500 unique visitors a month right now on this site, and since Thursday of last week, I think we've had now about 70 or 80 you know, data collections where we get the name of the company, the name of the website of the company that's been on our site, phone number of the company. If there's, you know, if they visited multiple pages, you know, the list of all the pages that they visited.
Sure.
And we found, you know, in this case, you know, I think 3 or 4 of those, you know, contacts that were identified, you know, went ahead and followed through and purchased with us in this last Thursday. And
Awesome.
so, but you know, it's only tracking, you know, it's like it only tracks like businesses. It only, you know, only is able to get data on businesses. But what I'm seeing with this is that, and I really had no idea, we've got almost 300 unique pages on this website, you know, of data, articles and stuff that I've published over the years, and I've got a pretty steady stream of universities and high schools and you know, schools, like, I don't know, students and stuff that are coming here. I guess it's students because they come and they read an article and they go away. But I wasn't aware of that before I started looking at this.
Okay.
This data, and it's a little trend. Now there's a crap ton of marketing companies that are going over here and snooping around, you know, and looking, and you know, and then there's, but man, I started getting nervous when I saw first insurance companies there, and then 3 different freaking attorneys are there, you know.
Well, it's interesting that you say that students. Did you say students were coming on?
Well, I'm assuming that. I mean, it could be professors, but I mean, I've gotten probably 6 different universities, and a number of high schools and even, you know, elementary schools visiting our site. And we've got you know,
I'm assuming some of your articles talk about the business opportunity of using your trucks to create a business, right?
of course. Yeah. Yeah. I've been, publishing on the subject of landscape business and
Yeah. So that,
landscape business best practices for many years.
yeah. So that would probably make sense of why, because there's probably people going through school that are they're going through for business and they're looking for business opportunities. And then, they come across your information and then boom, they're on your site. That being the case, and knowing a little bit more about what you're doing here, I might be inclined to use the AI to come up with some sort of a fancy giveaway that says, for lack of perfect clarity here, something that shows them how to start a business using your equipment.
Uh-huh.
How to start a lucrative landscaping business, in 3 simple steps, or, something like that. Use the AI to brainstorm and figure out what would be the most catchy title for it, what should be included in it. You could probably have the thing write it for you.
Yeah.
Just turn it into a PDF and then start posting that as a button, download this thing, whatever it comes out being called, make it highly, highly benefit oriented for the person, and then start putting that button on all those pages that you've had published over the years.
Yeah.
And start seeing if maybe you start generating some leads from that. Because once they download that, they're in your system. Now you have the ability to follow up with them. I think if memory serves me, you were using the new Infusionsoft backend, right? What's that called?
We are just Keep. Yeah,
Keep. That's right.
Keep.
Yeah. So you could easily set up a follow-up sequence in there in Keep that when somebody opts in for this, you can start sending them videos. You could do a webinar.
We've got a lot of that on here.
Yeah.
Published over the years. I think we've got something like way too many. I mean, we've probably got
all you'd have to do.
forums on.
Yeah, all you'd have to do is just find the sequence of them. Like if you were going to introduce somebody to one step, and then a second step and a third step, and each step of the way you're going to be prompting them to make a purchase, but your sequence would just keep inviting them to more and more content, helping educate them so they can get what they want. They want a profitable business. You just become the vehicle for that. And the more that you can help them and the more that you can show them how you are an integral part of them, part of their success, part of what they want, that's going to create demand and desire. And then you're creating demand and desire, you're eliminating objections, like maybe financing, maybe they don't have the money. So then you introduce them to, hey, we can overcome that objection. We can get you financed. You can do this with no money down, or, I don't know if that's true or not, but you just keep on massaging them down to the point where you've got high demand, you've got no objections left, and then you make them an irresistible offer.
Got it.
That's because you already have all the content. It's just a matter of taking all the tools at your disposal and you being the engineer. You need to put your engineer hat on for a minute and say, okay, if I was going to take someone from not knowing anything about this to grabbing their attention, showing them, hey, this is a good business opportunity for you. Here's how you do it. Let me help you. Let me educate you. Let me show you the way. Let me eliminate the objections. Let me make you an offer that you just flat out can't refuse. You engineer that process. Like I said, you probably already have the majority of the pieces. And then you just need to go in and build a campaign and Keep that just drips that out. Keeps them coming.
Thank you.
I think that would be really good for you.
And if you get really good at the sales and marketing, the people that want to start business, you can offer sales and marketing coaching 'Cause I'm sure there's people here that'd be willing to offer that help for you.
I'll bet there is.
A need or a way to highlight somewhere on the page, like we have a lot of repeat clients for these products and these trucks. Is there a way that we need to segment to say, hey, have you already bought a truck, so that they don't have to get, like, if they end up on the website instead of just calling us first or whatever?
Sure.
Is that something that we should consider?
Absolutely. You could have a tab up there that says current customers, existing customers. And then you could have a whole section just for them. That would not only serve them, I wouldn't put it behind a password either. I would just let anybody get access to it. That way, somebody that wasn't a customer could also see how you're treating your customers.
What they're missing?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Because that to me would create even more demand and desire to become a customer. The
Thank you.
more you give them, the more you lead them to what they want, the more their desire to work with you is going to become. It's just going to go exponentially through the roof. Like in the ACT program, I use a thing called timeline. And what you do is you take their current position on the timeline, that's where they are. If they're not in business yet, that's just, it's wherever they are. You need to be able to figure out, how do you walk a mile in their shoes? How do you feel what they're feeling, see what they're seeing, hear what they're hearing, and know where they want to go? That's the other end of the timeline. That's called their desired outcome. So if you know where they are and you know what they want, their desired outcome, and you know why they want it, that way you can kind of tap into the emotion and pull them along with more strength. But what you want to do is you want to first build their confidence that they can actually get what they want. And the best way to do that is to segment it out into the steps that they're going to have to take. If you say, I know where you are, I know what's going on, I've been there myself, I did this, I know how to do it, I can show you how to do it. And if you're going to have a single chance at this, you have to be able to do this one thing first. And you tell them how to do it and you let them do it. Maybe it's just get a business license. You know, I don't know, you know, where they're at or whatever, but you tell them how to do the first thing to get what they want. Like without a business license, you can't become a successful business because you're going to be in jeopardy. You're going to build something and then it's going to get taken away from you. So you build some fear into it. So if you show somebody how to get a business license, and again, I'm just spitballing here, I'm just making stuff up so you get the idea. But if that's the first step for them to have a successful business, is to get a business license, and you give them a free thing that shows them how to do that, and you say, here's where you go, here's the form, fill it out this way, don't check this box because then you'll have a disaster or whatever. And you say, it'll take you 5 minutes, let's do it right now while we're on the video. Click here to download the form, fill it out, and just walk them through it. And then say, put a stamp on it, put your check in and send it off. Now, all of a sudden, they're going to have a business license. They're committed. They have a sense of confidence that, oh my God, you know, I'm real. I have a business license now. That just took their chance of buying your product and just sent it absolutely through the roof. Just that simple little thing. Even though, you know, you're selling them a product that's tens of thousands of dollars, your chance of making that sale just went up exponentially. And the chance of them going and buying it from somebody else that didn't help them just got destroyed. So the more you can help them get what they want and understand what that is, and then you wrap your product into part of the process and you help them, even if the stuff you're helping them with doesn't have to do with you selling your thing, it really does. Give them what they need to be able to buy your stuff and they'll buy it. Like that might be a major objection that's not visible. It's not expressed. They might have an objection of, well, I can't buy this. I don't even have a business license. I don't even know how to do that. And that just killed your sale. And they didn't tell you that. You have to anticipate it. So if you're in, and again, that is only if that's your avatar. If your avatar has never done a business
Yeah.
before, and
Most of our, it's kind of tough. We got, from a financing standpoint, it's like they got to be in business 3 years. Most of the banks won't touch them until they've been in business a while. We got they got to verify, income and this kind of thing. So rarely do we sell to those guys with this particular product, but we do have some other products that are better suited for that. So you give me some things to think about, and it does help, and I really appreciate it. I'll close with this because I don't want to keep y'all day, but we got I'd still, whatever problem or whatever reason, I don't know, but I still don't have the way to log into Internet Dominators site in the ACE program or whatever you call it.
okay. I will
Call it something.
look up your account. I'll resend your login information.
Yeah.
And send me an email to that effect so I can respond back to it and I can make sure that you actually get when I send it.
Okay. All right, John. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. But the whole idea, it's okay that what I just explained there wasn't a perfect match. The idea was to get you thinking in those terms.
Yeah, and you have. That's very good, man. Very good. It gives me a different kind of, of how we might apply some of the things we already have, and how to align the products with the avatar better.
Yeah. And it really, once you learn how to do this, it really doesn't matter if you're selling a $1 million item or a 25-cent pencil.
Yeah.
It's the same exact process. You've got somebody in a current position, they have a desired outcome, even if it's a little tiny micro thing, like $1 purchase, it doesn't matter. If you want to sell it, you still need to understand that. All right,
man, that's good.
I've heard the really good salespeople always say that it's easier to sell something expensive than something that's cheap.
Our product that we have here is about, it's a six-figure purchase, so
yeah,
it's a pretty big commitment. And it's kind of funny, because I got started in this online marketing thing with this company in 1998, and what was just so obvious very early on is that the leads that we would get through our website were always so better qualified than people that would simply call first. They were better educated after watching and reading, and they were more forthcoming with their company information, through our web forms. And of course, we ask for a whole lot less information today than what we did in the early days with our website. But
one thing that has just occurred to me when you just said that, you've got a lot of information here, and it would take somebody some serious digging to actually find what they're looking for.
That's right.
Especially if they don't know what they're looking for.
That's right.
And that's going to be the biggest part of your problem, is they don't really know, and you've got so much stuff, they're not going to find what they need.
Yes.
So a good thing for you to do would be to segment your audience into what type of people you're talking about, and again, what they want. And you might have like a set of buttons on the home page where when they land on the home page, it's a click here if, click here if, click here if, and figure out what all those ifs are. Like if you've never started a business, but you want to know how to create a very, very profitable business, click here. And then you can take them down and you can educate them. You can point out all the stuff that you have hidden in your site that they need to get to and the sequence they need to consume it in. And then, just address the next if you've already got a landscape business and you want to take it to the next level, click here. You know, if, just figure out what all those ifs are, and every one of those ifs is going to be an avatar for you.
Thank you.
That I think would really, really benefit you. And again, it's a matter of you putting your engineer hat on and being able to take all the tools at your disposal and put together a sequence and a strategy for every person that comes through your door. And just you're helping them. That's all you're doing. You're helping them consume a mountain of content with just little simple spoon-fed bites, because that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants to be spoon-fed. Nobody wants to walk into a warehouse and go, holy shit, where's the screw I want?
I think our time on the site, John, is about 4 minutes, average time on site.
Yeah. See, I think you could increase that radically if you took them by the hand and showed them what they want.
Okay.
And lead them. Like every time they go through a piece of content, give them a button, tell them what they want next. It's your job to lead them. They don't know. You know, you have a treasure trove of a gold mine of information here, but they don't know. They don't know what it all is, and they don't know how to consume it. So it's your job to help them consume it.
Very good.
So
John
it's strategy.
and Tony, thank you for this. We can really all benefit from this example, and I really appreciate all the work that's gone into it thus far. Good job.
Thank you, Janie.
Yeah, and for everybody, I mean, if there's anything you want me to look at, I can make great examples for everybody out of anything. So, you know, the whole thing is for us to all go through the process and really learn how to sell our stuff. Yeah. So the more examples you give me, don't ever feel like, oh my God, I'm taking up too much time. Don't ever feel like that. You're just giving me great contents to help everyone else learn here. So.
Well, we're going to keep feeding stuff to you. We're going to make our little micro steps, I guess.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good stuff. All right. Well, anything else? And again, Tony, thank you for breaking our continuity of the past conversation, because it wasn't really marketing. You had to get me back on track there.
All right. That's all right, man. We appreciate you know, everything. I mean, that's, you know, stuff that I haven't been exposed to. I mean, you know, vaguely, but not it's very specifics that you were sharing there with the digital currency name and so on there. Anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot of tremendous opportunities just on the road ahead. So it's all good stuff.
Safe
All right.
travels, John. Gotta go.
All right. Thanks, Janie. We will see you next week.
Take care.
Okay.
Be well, guys. Many
All right.
blessings.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm going to go too. I got to get out back to check on some stuff that's going on in the shop here. So
All right.
appreciate it.
We'll go ahead and wrap her up for this week, and we will see you guys next week.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, I always wanted to be a Klingon, John, so here I am. The last one. So thank you for all the thing today. It's really great. Have you considered doing your crypto thing on a monthly thing rather than requiring a $500 upfront whack, or is that sort of a filter to keep the lightweights out?
Well, what I do have a month to month on it.
I've not seen that. What is it?
The one is that's for an annual. That's basically like an annual subscription. But let me see if I can find it. I'll give you the link to it. I got to see where I can find. I got so much stuff. It's kind of crazy.
Gee, I'm not surprised.
That doesn't shock you?
No, and I had forgotten about your story about the gals at the front office. You had a pre-existing relationship with them so that when you sat in the waiting room, they knew who you were and they weren't going to bug you. And when you showed up and gave them money, they knew who you were and the money that you were giving them, correct?
Yes. Yeah. That is correct. Okay, here we go. Took me a minute, but I found it.
Put it in, if you can put it in the chat, that'd be great. If there's a link or whatever.
Okay, yep. I've got it. I'll put it in there. And then I'll just show you real quick here. So the 497, that was for the entire year. There's the 199 and then 49 a month. That's the deal. It's
When I went there the first time, I didn't see the $49 a month on there. It was just the annual thing. This is a different change, a different page now. Than
I think I was about 6 months ago I updated this. The first time I sold it simply as a 1-year thing, and I wasn't sure if I was going to continue it or not. So when we got to the end of the year, everybody that had bought in, it was all up. And I asked everybody if they wanted to continue, and everybody wanted to continue. So I did the $49 a month thing, or $497 for a year. So that's where
I'm not really flush enough yet to be able to throw a lot at this, but I do have this thought that in the next few months, as quickly as possible, I'd like to drop like $5,000 into the XRP, and that'll be my total venture into crypto. Short of, I actually signed up for and took that the plan program